xthedarkone and he really wants to review movies and games. So why don't you all come along so that you may hear his voice will go high pitched. He's got a hat that is fucking cool and also fucking epic. So sit back and get associated with X to show his epic, awesome, cool, sweet, and bitchy. It's X-rated.
Hey guys, xthedarkone here, and we are back with the return of X-Rated, this show that I do and I like, and this is my character, and it's a cute, and he's so adorable, and yeah, he's amazing, and you love him, and I'm gonna start reviewing games, starting with this one. This is Void Bastards. Void Bastards is an intriguing new take on the survival format, made by the developers Blue Manchu with the development director of System Shock 2 and Bioshock. It's an addictive, fun adventure, and we're gonna talk about all sorts of things I did in this walkthrough, such as my first impressions, some helpful tips if you decide to pick this game up, so let's just get on with it. The visuals for this game are very appealing. It holds a cel-shaded comic book theme that means it's going to age very well as a game. You could drop plenty of hours into this title and never be bored by the look. As you go from ship to ship, each one is laid out differently and has different colour schemes, giving the player a lot to take in. The voice acting is a lot of fun. Hearing the enemies and all their Britishness makes me laugh. Also, hearing Siri as the computer voice offers a small smile, but the runaway winner of awesome is the return of Kevin Brighting, aka the narrator from the Stanley Parable, playing the computer of the Void Ark ship that basically runs your life. You are a client from a ship known as a Void Ark. From what I can tell, this is a kind of prison ship, and you start the game as one of these prisoners on a ship. You walk around and are eventually killed. Don't worry, the game expects you to do that. It actually tells you it expected you to die. The backpack on your back then dumps out everything you'd collected, travels back to the Void Ark where another client, who as it turns out are all stored as little dehydrated powder, is then rehydrated, given a load of stuff and sent on their merry way. Your mission, to fly out to all the wrecked derelict ships, collect all the items and supplies you need to craft new items, and fix the Void Ark. Ultimately, a very simple premise, and actually that's all you need for a game like this. It's not some tear-jerking AAA chronicle, it is simply a game that drops you in, gives you everything you need, and just lets you start enjoying. The gameplay is very intuitive, but you're gonna die a lot. Yeah, a lot, as you get your footing in this game. See, as you enter each ship, not only are you finding parts to craft various items, weapons, sub-weapons, or defense weapons, but also collecting food and fuel. See, each time you jump from one ship to another, you use up your fuel and food, and if you run out, you guessed it, you die. Another interesting element is your character themselves, as each of them get their own different perks which can be changed and added to if you find a DNA point on a ship or collide with some random DNA wave on the star map. There are some perks that provide benefits and some that actually give a disadvantage, and depending on your playstyle can also work in your favour, and I'll talk more about that in my tips later. The enemies of this game are called citizens and comprise of, so far at least, tourists, janitors, scribes, screws, patients, spooks, juves, and a Zet. And you will get a readout of the enemies that you will contend with before entering each ship. You also have space pirates to worry about, that are all Scottish for some reason. They travel around the star map as you do, which means if you're not careful, they will eventually be at a ship you go to and will be an additional element to deal with. Void Bastards altogether is a very fun experience. With all the variety of weapons, enemies, and perks, I found a lot of enjoyment in planning out my route, finding the right combos of weapons and gear to deal with whatever enemies I was going to be engaging. The game comes out on the 29th of May at $29.99, and I highly recommend it for all you survival crafting lovers out there. Now for some tips that I've picked up while playing the game, and I'll start with a rundown on the types of enemies you will encounter. The civilian. The tourists are essentially creepers from Minecraft. They explode if you shoot them or even go near them. I found the best way to deal with them is to pick up the tour guide perk. This handy little perk basically means tourists won't explode when you go near them, basically making them harmless. This handy little perk basically means tourists won't explode when you go near them, making them completely harmless. Also, when they explode, they affect everything around them, so bear this in mind when taking on bigger enemies. The janitors are your bog standard enemy, no special powers, they just shoot you. Any weapon you have will work against these guys, no problem. The scribes, on the other hand, they're slippery little turds, as they will pop some shots, then run away. They are speedy and can be hard to nail down. I recommend using the zapper as soon as you see them. The zapper will temporarily paralyze basically anything it hit by it. So if you're on a ship with scribes, have a zapper on hand first, then switch to your gun. Screws are one of the harder enemies. They hit hard and can take a lot of damage. Again, the zapper seems to be an ideal weapon of choice. Hit them with the stun, then either the stapler, basically the shotgun of the game, or the toaster. The toaster is an energy cannon. Hits hard but takes a charge time, so if you're using the zapper, you may want to switch back and forth. Patients are a swarm of really creepy heads, and you have to kill each of them. In terms of weapons, the stapler again is arguably the best choice. However, the kitty bot is a great sub-weapon for these guys. The kitty bot will drive around and distract your enemies and explode when it runs out of health. I've found with the patients, you can just throw a kitty bot out and forget about them. Spooks are about as strong as janitors in terms of firepower and defense, but their party trick is that they can disappear and reappear behind you. The zapper again, however, is a great weapon to both keep them still and expose their weak spot. Tubes are nothing special, they're small, they're fast, but easy enough to handle with just about any weapon. Zeks, on the other hand, are arguably the hardest of the citizens I've come across so far in this game. They float around and not only fire an incredibly strong blast equal to the screw, but they have this force field in front of them that is impenetrable. Not even the zapper works. You have to get behind them, which you can do with explosives like the Fast Whacker, Banger, or Cluster Flat. Though a strategy I found worked well was my latest weapon, the Rifter. The Rifter zaps whatever it hits out of reality to be brought back whenever I wanted. And this does work even on the shields. This is very handy if you want to utilize environmental items like this turret I had control of. A great tip for this game is utilize the locking mechanism. As I'm showing off in my footage here, I used the countdown and dropped the Zek back in this room with a turret I took control of at the last second and locked her in. There are other environmental elements you can use to save on ammo, so keep your eye out for. One of the handier perks I found was Unstoppable, which automatically opens any and all doors you approach. There is also a perk that automatically closes doors behind you too, which can be very handy if you're one of those who want to speed run through the ship. Of course, you're going to be aiming to get all the upgrades as you play, but as far as early game goes, the best ones in my opinion are the armors, of course, but in terms of going ship to ship, you want to focus on the VP gun points, gear, and work your way down that little list there. These upgrades grant things like quicker and cheaper overriding of the turrets, quicker door locking, etc. There are other upgrades that help deal with certain hazards and dangers like fires and making oxygen last a bit longer, but while those issues are random with each ship, these upgrades here will be handy for all the ships you go to. Ultimately, guys, Void Bastards is a fun experience that doesn't try to overstep its boundaries in what it is. You click, start, you jump in, you have fun. It isn't worth waiting for a deal, as you get your money's worth from the get-go. I would highly recommend this game to anyone. And that's really all I've got to say. I have rated this game, I've given you my opinions. What did you think? Comment down below. I want to thank all my patrons for supporting this channel and you guys for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.